Hey, whippersnappers, this is Tortimer the Great. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Minecraft Jurassic World Edition. Today we are going to be actually doing some pretty fun stuff. Pretty excited about today. First of all, I saw Jurassic World this last weekend, which was super exciting. I was a kid when the original came out in '93, and I've always loved dinosaurs, but even 2 and 3, Jurassic Park 2 and 3, which people generally don't care that much about or care that much for. I love them. I just love dinosaurs, and they do a relatively good job, at least in the first 3, with kind of helping you suspend disbelief by using the animatronic. I mean, you think they're real in a lot of instances, and so. I love those. So we're going to talk a little bit spoiler-free, so you guys don't have to worry if you haven't seen the movie yet. But we're going to talk a bit about the new movie at some point here. But a couple of things I want to go over with you guys before we get going. Both mods updated. So both Fossils and Archaeology and JurassiCraft. And a couple of things. Not a lot of affected stuff from Fossils and Archaeology. I think there was a couple of ID conflicts with with these plants or whatever, so I had to spawn these back in because they disappeared. But with JurassiCraft, it was kind of world breaking for JurassiCraft. I mean, the ores were fine, but Spike number 1 disappeared. He was gone. So, and in my test world, I'd put some JurassiCraft Pokemon in there at one point, and they were all gone too. So, I had to get Spike back, and also all of the DNAs for JurassiCraft had disappeared. So what I did, just to be fair, so I didn't give myself like a ton of stuff that I just wanted, I just took like 3 stacks of. I didn't remember how much I just took 3 stacks of fossils for JurassiCraft and threw them in the machine. I didn't know how much of what I had or whatever, but all the DNAs were gone, and I did not want to go digging for all of those again necessarily. So we just popped three stacks of fossils in there and let it ride. Got some fun stuff. Probably won't mess with anything of it specifically today. We'll probably wait until we move Spike out of his enclosure. And I say his because one of the things that changed in the update is that the Dino Pad finally does not break the game anymore. So if we come in here, we can click on Spike. He's a 3-day-old male. And so it is a male. The JurassiCraft mod actually distinguishes between males and females. So like, if you can breed in JurassiCraft, you obviously can only do it if you have a male and a female. And honestly, I don't know how all that works in this mod necessarily anyway, but we've got a growing boy here, and he's a little bit different colored. I don't know if there's variation between Stegosaurus, because he was more of just like a dark green last time, with even like grayish green plates, I think. So he's a little more ornamental this time, and again, I don't know if that's because of the update, this is just what all Stegosauruses look like now, or if there's like multiple variations of Stegosaurus within the mod. I know Fossils and Archaeology does variation. I believe that their variation is based on the biome that it's hatched in or whatever, but both of them were hatched right here. So I honestly I just don't know where that variation comes from, but he's still a cool looking dude. But yeah, so I wanted to run through that with you guys because obviously there was a change there. Now, like when this guy hatched, it said he was tamed. I think maybe there's some different things, and I think you might be able to ride these guys now. I saw when I was in creative mode spawning in fossils and stuff like that, I saw there's some items, and they may have been there before, but like meat on a stick or carrot on a stick, things like you would use for pigs in Minecraft to ride them. So I don't know if those are intended for these or what, but some fun stuff to explore for sure. So we've got Doser. Doser is fully grown at this point, I think. I think once they hit like the 12-day mark, they're full, and he's like 15 days old. Ooh, he's getting hungry. We gotta get some food for him. He's a grown boy, and obviously this thing is worthless. I'm just gonna take it out of here. Darn it! I was hoping it would drop. I was hoping it would drop the food I put in there. That's unfortunate. But we'll go over here and we'll grab some stuff. Is the sun setting? Or yeah. All right. So let's grab some food for our guys here really quickly. I did a couple of harvests, so there should be some stuff here. Although I've been feeding Spike just because I don't really know. Yeah, I guess we are a little low. We'll grab this stuff here. Gonna have to do another wheat harvest here soon. I expanded out the village a little bit. You guys don't really care, but I've got some like doors in here. I'm trying to up the villager population, so I've been extending. In fact, I need to close this if night's coming. I've been extending out the village, so I'd put the road in. Started building some of the little houses and things like that, the quick, easy ones. And stuff like that. So hopefully our population, I've seen a couple of babies running around in here, so hopefully that'll continue to grow, because we've got big plans for them. I think at some point, given that we are starting to work on our enclosures today, I think at some point we're going to need a lot of iron, and more than I'm probably going to be able to pull up out of the mines. It'll probably end up being something where we probably will want to end up putting in an iron farm at some point, but that's a little bit down the line. One cool thing I've noticed, I don't know if he'll do it here for me. Yeah, oh, he just did. So, like, he'll eat it out of your hand. If you just stand here holding it, you can see the count of wheat there is counting down. I'm going to give him this stack. He can have that stack. What? There we go. Weird. It disappeared when I dropped it. There you go, Spike. There's all that wheat for you, buddy. Beautiful. And there he goes. Chowing down. Alright, so Spike's doing good. Spike number 2, I guess, but Spike number 1 didn't die. He just was a victim of mod updates, so we'll leave that there. And then I guess we can feed Doser other things, but we'll just feed him this wheat here, get him back up to snuff. It shouldn't take... There we go, yeah. So he's full up. Get rid of this and that. Alrighty, so for Doser today, we actually... let's jump in... Just jump in bed very quickly. I want to sleep away this night, and then we are going to get going on our stuff today. What do I have in the furnace? Am I cooking more potatoes up? Probably cooking more potatoes up. Yes, I am. There we go. We'll pop that in there. And, there we go. Where do I want to put this for now? Put it in here for now. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is, a couple of episodes ago, last episode, recently-ish, we worked on Doser's new enclosure. If we take a look at our map, we're... let me step outside here for a second because I'm under cover. It's there we go. Alright, so we started working on his new enclosure, or at least laying it out. So here's where we are. You know, Doser and Spike. I don't know why Spike doesn't show up on the map. Weird. JurassiCraft models just must not be registering as entities. A little strange. Or is he showing up as an animal? I don't know. Weird. But we are starting out finally getting this part going. And so this is kind of the area here that we've laid out for the Ankylosaurs, and so where we're going to be putting Doser. And so today I want to take a minute. And let's see, we've got to grab... We probably won't get all the way done with his enclosure today. What I'd like to do is get at least part way through it, because I'd love to be able to get him at least in there, so that we can evacuate his little pen, and potentially put some more dinosaurs in there. That should be good for now. Do I have some wool still laying around? That would be in here probably. We don't appear to have any wool left. I think I used it all. So I'm gonna grab this acacia wood here. I guess we've got some wool, but not for what we're doing right now. So let's head on over here. I'm gonna leave Charlie the mule here. Oh, and speaking of Charlie the mule, I need to apologize and retcon myself. Last episode, I gave credit for Spike and Charlie to Erin because she's one of my my regular commenters, and so I kind of just, if I couldn't think of them, like, well, it must have been Erin, but no, actually, in fact, it was April Violinaria. April, I just call her April. She's a friend of mine from the Decimon and PXO servers, and she has been watching this series, and so she suggested that, and so I apologize, April, for giving credit away from you. Obviously, I should have known better. But yeah, so we are going to be starting on this enclosure here today. I did a bit of terraforming, and so it's kind of a little leveled out. Things kind of come up to the wall here. I may continue to do a bit of this, but for now, it's essentially good to go. And again, we're probably, what I want to do today is I want to lay in the wall. And then I want to get it to a point where we can get him in there, and then we'll probably take some time to do some real fancy tuning with it, you know, making it suitable for Enclosure, things like that specifically. But one thing I forgot I wanted to do was I asked you guys last episode if you guys had a dinosaur that you would be interested in seeing hatch today, and the majority seem to be interested in seeing a little Plesiosaur get hatched, a little Loch Ness monster going there. So I did analyze up an egg for that, I believe. If not, we'll have to do that very quickly. But I'd like to get that hatched because I'm actually going to be putting it somewhere nearby to where Doser's enclosure is. In here? Yes, I did hatch. Whoa, wait, didn't I put these in my inventory before? Weird. Okay, so we're gonna come on over here. Now my question's gonna be, do I have anything to feed the little guy? I don't know what they eat necessarily. Let me see if I've got any meat. Have any meat? Maybe elite zombie flesh? We'll grab that, and once it hatches, we'll be able to look at what it wants to eat, you know, through the Dinopedia there. So we'll take this guy over with us. I'm going to be putting him, I think, like I mentioned before, this place has like lots of great, you know, natural water areas here. And so with all of our aquatic animals, we're probably going to be putting them, you know, in and around some of these enclosures. And we'll obviously be retrofitting them slightly to accommodate, you know, better viewing and things like that. But I think where I'm going to be putting the Plesiosaur for now is going to be just kind of over here, over the hill a little bit from where Doser's enclosure is probably going to end up. Well, this is going to be Doser's enclosure. So where we're going to be putting the Plesiosaur, at least for now, is going to be over here. So we've got this nice little enclosed area. And it connects up to where I think I probably am going to want the Plesiosaurs in the end, like where I'm going to want them permanently. So we've got this nice little enclosed area and a little shallows over here. So I think I'm going to put the Plesiosaur over there because where I want them eventually to end up is over here. So we talked about a couple episodes ago, maybe, I don't remember, it's been a little while since I recorded, because I had to wait to see the Jurassic World movie. We've got this space here where I think the visitor center is going to be, and then the entryway is going to be over there. So I've got this big pond kind of in there, and I think since Plesiosaurs are like the only docile aquatic reptile, I'm thinking I probably want them in here, and we'll make that work, get a whole little herd of them. But let's head on over here, and we will throw down a little enclosure very quickly. and we'll get going. We'll get going here. But yeah, so I guess I should get to the main event here. I wanted to talk about the Jurassic World movie just a little bit. Again, I'm not going to be doing spoilers or anything here, so no worries there. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm not going to be spoiling anything. I may talk about some things. My inventory is being weird. I may talk about some things, but the only things I'm going to... Gosh. Darn it, where's the... I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, welcome back. Yeah, it was being a little weird, and so I figured while I was putting in a cut anyway, I would quickly throw in this little pen here. So I've done that, used up some of the blocks, some of the stone brick that I was intending to use for Dozer's enclosure, but that's alright, that's alright. So let's pop this little baby down. I think it needs to hatch on land. So let's check. Warm, cold, warm. I was gonna say it's surrounded by torches. It should be warm enough. So there it goes. It is ticking away very slowly, but it is ticking away. But yeah, so I saw Jurassic World opening weekend. It's last night for me. I went out and saw it Thursday, so I could get this recorded right away. But you know, obviously it's probably been almost a week for you guys since you're seeing this, since this series comes out on Wednesday. But hey, first off, huge fan of the originals. I'm a very graphically oriented person. You know, I went to school for computer graphics, and I really had just, you know, I've been drawn to things based on design and things like that. And so for me, Jurassic Park was almost never, like I said, I liked 2 and 3. You know, obviously not as good as the first one. But there's dinosaurs in them. There's live action, well, what seems to be live action dinosaurs. You know, Wrecking House, what's not to love? Like, and so I actually, for the most part, really enjoyed this movie. There's definitely things that, you know, I was sitting there and I'm like, really? Like, just like the story and the script and stuff were sometimes a little bit off. But you know, and I'm sitting there like, nah, anybody with half a brain, this situation wouldn't be happening, sort of thing. But you know, it was a lot of fun. It was, which was disappointing to me. It was almost like, I would say probably like 99% CGI, with like almost everything. Like, oh, the visitor center was CGI, and like I think there's one scene where I can definitively say, okay, that was a real dinosaur. Oh, we're getting real close. Where I could say, well, not a real dinosaur, but that was a puppet or whatever, an animatronic. That thing was actually existed in the real world. But other than that, I think it was all pretty much 100% CGI. I know they said that they were bringing back the T-Rex puppet from the original movie. So I'm sure there was a scene there. You do see the T-Rex at one point, I guess. Spoiler alert. But, okay! The dinosaur egg hatched. And music just started playing. Okay, so Plesiosaur eats raw fish, cooked fish, ammonites, and raw chicken. And it we ordered with an empty shell. Okay, so we are his owner. I don't have an empty shell, so I will have to take a look at that. But let's quickly. I do have a name tag here. Oh, we got fish. He gave me some fish. Well, here, have them back. That's a good boy. These guys should be able to take care of themselves in terms of like feeding. Oh wow. Like in the water, they should feed. So I shouldn't have to really worry about feeding it. But feeding her, I guess I should say. Necerius does things. One of my longtime inactive subscribers suggested that we name this little lass Nessie. And, you know, Loch Ness Monster, blah, 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 I get it. But, Yeah, I thought that was a good idea, and I think when we finally get another Plesiosaur, when we get a male in here, I'm probably gonna name him Locke after like John Locke. So we'll have Nessie and Locke, and it'll just be funny and punny, and it'll be great. But yeah, so there's the little girl, and she should like you saw there. They will like spit up fish at you, and so I fed those back to her. She's almost full health. But yeah, so she should feed herself. So we'll probably come check back in with her in a little bit. She's name tagged, so she shouldn't despawn. She's got plenty of health. So she should be good to go there. So yeah, but yeah, so in the Jurassic World, there was some fun little Easter eggs from like the first movie, because they are on. So I'm not gonna go into spoiler things, but things that were like basically in the trailer. I'm not going to like stray away from necessarily. So whoa, hey, what's what? She must be on follow. I don't have an empty shell to control her with. That was weird. Nessie? There you go, sweetheart. Why don't you get back in the pond? Can you sit? Can you just sit? No. Oh, that's bad. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, so I popped into creative mode very quickly, because just to grab this empty shell, and the only thing I'm using it for is to set her to free move, so she can roam around, and I'm gonna toss that. We'll find another one at some point, but I can't have her teleporting around the park with me. That's just, I can't do that. So I'm sure you guys will forgive me, but we just had to set her to free move there. And now we'll be good to go. So yeah, the movie was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. For just a fan of the Jurassic Park movies, it was a lot of fun. You don't, so like I said, so much of it is CGI. So I enjoyed it a little less than the other ones because the puppets, the animatronics, are really what made it feel real. And I get that it's not real, but when I'm sitting there watching this movie, I want to believe that these dinosaurs exist. That's the whole reason that movie is fun, and it gets to the point where it's like, if it's pure CGI, and being somebody who went to school for computer graphics, you usually can't trick me too much. Like, I mean, there are definitely exceptions. The apes in the Planet of the Apes were spectacular. They did an amazing job with those. But large in a way, you can usually pick out CGI. And so I'm sitting here watching this movie and being thoroughly entertained, but it doesn't have quite the magic that the older series had. Just because it wasn't really there in my mind. I wasn't like, oh man, this new dinosaur is real. Like, the T-Rex in Jurassic Park was real. That thing was happening. And so it was just a bit of a difficult thing for me to suspend my disbelief on this one, but it was very cool. It was more of like an action movie. You don't have as much of like the suspense and tension as you do like in the original. It was more just like an action kind of monstery movie, and they even comment on that. So I mean, they don't have any illusions about it. They say about this new genetically enhanced dinosaur at one point, they're like, this thing's not even a dinosaur anymore, or something to that effect. And so, they understand that. They're like, this thing is a monster. It's not even a dinosaur. And so that's kind of the point of this one, is that, the corporate, drive to continue bringing in sales or whatever has driven them to create something altogether that is no longer even a dinosaur. And there's lots of motivation behind that they delve into in the movie. And I really liked one point, and again, this isn't really a spoilery thing. It doesn't reveal any plot points or whatever. But at one point, they're talking about, because they've genetically created this dinosaur, which, is obviously talked about in the trailer, so I don't feel too bad revealing that. But they even say, the main scientist is like, nothing in this park is natural, because I think the main character guy is like questioning the intelligence behind creating this new monster dinosaur thing, and he's like, nothing in this park is natural. Every single thing out there has been, we've had to splice in some other genetic material or whatever, which was delved into in the first Jurassic Park with, the frog DNA allowing the dinosaurs to change gender and things like that. And so he's like, one of the things that people regularly talk about with the Jurassic Park movies is their depiction of the Velociraptors, and how, okay, so in real life the Velociraptor is like, a foot and a half tall or something, whereas, hello there, Mr. Zombie Sir. A little busy recording and building, but thank you for your input. And so like that's one of the, oh gosh, creeper. I don't have any arrows. That's one of the things that they talk about. People often are like, oh, well, velociraptors are, they're tiny little creatures usually. And the velociraptors in the movies are bigger than a person, which is just not accurate for real velociraptors. But they talk, everything out there, they even say the line, everything out there is spliced with something else. None of this is natural. And if it were, if we were looking at real dinosaurs, they would probably look much different, because they've all been spliced with these different things to complete the genomes and all that. So their genes are representing differently and things like that. So it was a cool line, and I'm butchering it there, obviously, but just kind of a recognition of things just being, people are getting all up in arms about this genetic dinosaur, but they're like, well, all of this we're just making up as we go. None of those dinosaurs are real. They're not real dinosaurs. And so it was just a cool line, and they kind of delve into some of that. And there's some fun Easter eggs from the first one, and there's a lot of great action. Some of it, oh god, this is gonna be bad. Obviously, some of it, this, like I said, the script and the human characters. There are times where you're just like, really? You just don't. It's harder for me to suspend my disbelief that these people would be this stupid than it is for me to believe that there are dinosaurs at some points. So it's but overall, I loved the movie. It was a lot of fun. There was some campy moments to it, and it's not going to win any Oscars, but it was a lot of fun. And as a fan of the Jurassic Park series and just a dinosaur lover, which if you guys are watching this series, I'm sure you guys are too, I recommend it. Probably not my favorite of the Jurassic Parks, but that's I also disliked like The Hobbit and stuff for a similar because The Hobbit, they went full CGI on almost everything, as opposed to, in the original trilogy, they had used, special effects and things like that. And so, I as a computer graphics person, it's hard to fool me. And honestly, it's just something where like. It could have been better in some instances, more realistic. It could have, but again, it was also a bigger. So in their defense, I guess it was a bigger movie than like Jurassic Park was, in the sense that like, Jurassic Park used the puppets mostly for close-up shots and things like that. But this was a kind of a wider, more action movie. That was more of a thriller, kind of suspenseful movie. And this was more of an action kind of based movie, so there wasn't a lot of real close-up tension building shots where you could use the puppets. It was a lot of running around and big battle scenes and things like that. And that's actually one of my main complaints about the movie. I loved the movie, but for me, and my brother and I went and saw it, and he had the same thought, was it got going too quickly. Like, I know it was an action movie and not a thriller suspenseful movie like the other, but really, for me, it got going way too quickly. Like, we're 5 minutes into this movie and things have already, already gotten going. It was like, so you've got this genetic dinosaur. They show you in the trailer that the thing escapes. That happens like 5 minutes into the movie. You don't get to spend enough time really building the world. And I know it's the fourth movie in maybe, I don't know if it's actually like considered part of the original trilogy. I think they might even be like planning to do a trilogy of their own with this. But it's like you don't get to see much of the park in like its natural state before it starts all falling apart, which is fine. And they show you that you do get some shots, to be sure, but like it seemed to kick off very quickly, which is not necessarily always a bad thing. But it was just a thing. It was just, that's what happened, and I was just not really, it wasn't, I could have used more buildup. I could have used more of the park before it was getting destroyed and all of that. But that's really one of the only complaints I've got. So, it was a great movie. I recommend it. Obviously, it's not going to be winning any Oscars, but it was a popcorn, summer movie. What do you really need from something like that? That's what it was supposed to be, and that's what it was. As a Jurassic Park fan, I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again at some point here soon. All the little flaws aside, all the logical fallacies, and the slight graphical things that helped to keep me from being able to suspend disbelief, etc. All of that, just still, it was a great movie for what it was supposed to be. I don't want to hold this, I don't want to be, holding things to like an unreasonable standard. The Avengers movies aren't Oscar winners either, but I love watching them. So it's just you gotta know what you're getting into, and as assuming that you guys are Jurassic Park fans, because you are watching this series. I think you guys will be happy with how it comes out. So let's see. I'm putting in some stuff here for the enclosure, and we're not going to get as far into it this week as I would have wanted to, but that's okay. So we're putting in these posts, and these may change slightly. I've been working on it in creative, and I'm starting to use some of these Carpenter's blocks that I've got included here. I haven't really used much of them since we really got going on this series, but I wanted to start fitting some of this in, and so you create these, and I can show you guys that really quickly, just for those of you guys who maybe haven't used the mod before. You take a piece of wood. Need to create more sticks. You take a piece of wood, and then you surround it by sticks here. Okay. And then you get, Carpenter's blocks. And essentially what these do, you can hammer these into different sizes and shapes, which I have to create a Carpenter's hammer, which I don't have the materials to do at present. But you put these into different shapes, etc., or you just leave them alone. And so, like, you can create, ramps, you can create Carpenter stairs, all that. So, like I said, I want to be using a lot of clay for these builds, and clay, you can't get slabs or stairs or any of that of clay, but with the Carpenter's blocks, you pop this down, and whatever shape you want it to be, well, we don't have any more slabs, but I can take any block and put it inside the Carpenter block, and then it's, usable. So I can make half slabs and all that with it. I don't have any iron on me, or I would make some of that. You need to create a hammer to do that with. So we'll have to do that at a later point. But this is kind of what I'm going for here. The acacia wood is just a stand-in until I get some clay. But essentially what we're gonna do, and this will be so. I do have my shears. So realistically, this here will be the same color as what's in the pillar. So each enclosure is going to have kind of its own color theme. There's lots of different colors of clay and all that, so we'll be able to do that. You know, not all of them will necessarily be totally unique, especially now that we've got JurassiCraft and Fossils and Archaeology in here. But they're going to be pretty cool, I think. So like, you know, we'll have the color here, and then there's going to be, you know, iron bars that'll go up to about, you know, here. I've got to figure out what height I want to make everything, but there will be iron bars. And then there'll be a half slab on top of the iron bars that will also be the same color. So I think that's pretty cool. I've got to decide if I want to do like stair stepping with it. You know, where like, okay, the base is the same on all of them, and so the top level changes as we go around. Or I have seen, you know, enclosures where the posts are variable, but the top is always the same height. So I've got to figure out what I want to do with that, what would look better. I'll play with that a little bit. But let's take a quick second. I brought Doser over here. He's on stay, so he should be fine. I will probably get his wall up at least before next episode, and then maybe we'll work on the interior a bit and do some other stuff. But let's check on Nessie here real quick, see how our new little lass is doing. Pretty excited to start getting her going here. Okay, yeah, she's still there. I was scared for a second. Obviously the whole pen wasn't in view, but still. Alright, so let's get our Dinopedia is out. Hey, little girl! So she has lost a little bit of health, or not health, but hunger. But she should be feeding herself. And if not, we'll start a chicken farm up, and we'll feed her with that until I know the adults can at the very least. So till she's old enough to hunt for herself, we might have to provide for her. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys, if you have not already, enjoy watching Jurassic World when you head out there to do that in the coming weeks. It is worth it, and especially if you were a fan of the originals and you know, just dinosaurs in general. It'll be a fun time for you. Just, you know, go in expecting to have fun. Don't go in there looking to critique every little thing and things like that. Sure, there are flaws, you know, like with any movie where the real draw is not the human characters. They often don't put as much effort into the human characters as you might expect. So like with the Transformers, not that this was anywhere near as bad as the Transformers, but you know, like with the Transformers, where, you know, the giant robot aliens are the real draw, or the new Ninja Turtles movie, or, you know, whatever, where the real draw isn't, you know, the human characters. They often don't put the effort into the human characters that you might need to get real good dialogue and character development and things like that, and they don't necessarily put in a lot of thought into the story. But it was a lot of fun. It wasn't so, like, mind-numbingly bad like the Transformers movies, where you, like, couldn't even enjoy it if you you know, because of the issues that it was having. So I think that you guys will enjoy it. I really enjoyed it, and there's lots of nice little Easter eggs there from the original, which was cool. And then just some cool, you know, visuals and things going on with the dinosaurs that you guys will enjoy. So I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. I'm gonna keep working on this pen here. Probably get it all roughed in, and I may even attempt to track down a mesa between now and next episode. I've got this program Amidst where I can put the seed in. And be able to figure out where a mesa would be. So I might do that, and we can start laying in the actual stuff here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. If there's another dinosaur you guys would like to see next episode, let me know, and maybe we'll hatch something new if you guys are real interested in it. Otherwise, we'll just hang out with Spike and Doser and Nessie and get this park up and running. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.